Good afternoon, Brooklyn Squad. Today we are doing a reaction video to a cold case. Now, this cold case is, wow, I'm actually just finding out about this case. And how I found out about this case is because Unsolved Delaware, missing black people, he was on my channel was it Saturday or Sunday over the weekend for a few minutes because something went wrong with the internet. But we're gonna definitely have him and Arctic Fox back on. But he was on my platform and I was looking over there on his platform today and I was interested on just the cases that he's been because I'm definitely admired by his work, the cases that he has been working, and because he works cold case, and if you don't know, cold cases are cases that the police and the media just don't talk about. They don't talk about, and I think that's kind of messed up. I think every case needs attention. Every case needs attention. You know what I mean? So when I was over there, I saw a few cases and I was like, oh my gosh, wow, these cases haven't been talked about. I've never heard about these cases before. And I saw one case that I thought was really, really particular because they were twins, right? And that's what we're going to be talking about today. Okay. So we're going to be talking about and I'm just finding out that these young girls has a group. So we are going to do a reaction video today, okay, on the two twins that went missing, the Millbrook twins. They call it the Millbrook twins. And they were only 15 years old. 15 years old. Okay. They were seen last in Georgia on March 8th, 1990. Wow. 1990. Augustoya. I can't say that name right. Augusta. But when I seen his name, I worked on another case, and her brother was from there. Augusta. But Danita and Janetta Millbrook, they were fraternity twins. They were twins, okay, guys? So we're gonna do a reaction video on that. Gonna let a few people come in and say we got two people in the back. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. Now, one of my new Brooklyn squad, she looked this up. Julia. Shout out to Julia. She gonna be a little investigator. And she done got her a notebook and everything, y'all. She ain't playing. And she helping your girl out. So let's read what this says, okay? Uh they've been missing. Wow, they would have been. And you know what bothered me about this case when I read it? And I said, I'm definitely going to put this out. Not only were they twins, right? But the police lied to them and said they would continue helping them on this case. They'll continue try to find them and just, spread the awareness of them. Have the media, they ain't do shit. They have not helped this family. From what I heard, that they only been on the news one time since they've been missing. No media coverage. Okay? No media coverage. That's a shame. Okay, so the twins left their godfather's house around 4 o'clock p.m. Okay, they stopped at a cousin's house and their older sister on the way back home. They asked if someone could walk them home, but the mom found out that was odd because the girls knew that they were around the area. You know what I mean? So there was a pump and shop gas station on 12th Street and Malcolm Boulevard. That was the final sighting of them girls at 4:30 p.m. Now, investigators on the case told the mom the case was closed. The girls had been located. Due to their ages, the cops couldn't make them come home. What? Listen, fast forward 2013, new sheriff on the spot now. Okay, case reopened. The sergeant would not comment on the case. Finally said if any evidence leads comes up, he will look into it. Any tips or anything, he'll let the family know. And the other sister passed away in 2018. Those girls will be 49 years old today if they were found. So as you see, there's not much on this case. So we have to look at the documentary. All we know is there was a gas station. They was leaving from somebody's house. Sound like a family member. But they asked for somebody to walk them home, but they knew the area. So I don't know what the hell's going on, to be honest with you. I really don't, but I'm interested in knowing. And since this is a reaction video and not just my regular case that I'm doing, all my facts and checking into, I didn't look at the documentary because a reaction video. Get that? Okay. So I guess y'all know what I'm talking about. Usually, if it wasn't a reaction video, I'd be doing my research and I'd be telling y'all this and telling y'all that and da 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 da. But it's not one of those. Okay, it's a reaction video. But I will be coming back on this, and I will be getting my facts into a regular video, so we could really get the details going. And I'll have Unsolved here, because this is one of his cases, so I really want to know what's going on. But let's get into that reaction video. Hi, Katie. Yeah, it's not much to know about this. I just found out about this. Um, just finding out. Okay, hold on, y'all. Um, so I'm interested in knowing what's going on with this case. Now, like I said, Unsolved. Oh, I didn't tell y'all, but Unsolved did an interview with the mother. And we're going to look at that too, but not today. We're going to look at a documentary that Oxygen did. And then we'll come back for another part, look at his interview, and then we're going to get into the whole case. Because I really want to know what's going on. Okay? But let's get into this documentary. Also, one of my new subs, I'm going to be working on her case because I just found out that one of her friends was um unalive and no one found out who did it. And she's a new Brooklyn squad. So yeah, y'all, this is sad. All these cases, god damn. You know what I mean? It's really even more sadder when it's one of your Brooklyn squad people. You know?
This is the first case of missing twins that are still missing today. They should be America's twins, and nobody knows about them.
Police didn't do nothing.
You welcome.
Anybody that was our color was runaways.
I just can't believe no one knows anything.
He doesn't want to be exposed for the lousy investigator that he is.
I want them to help me find them.
The twins' father hung out with people who committed murders.
An apparent serial killer who was operating in their neighborhood.
Oh.
What if I told you that I know where you could find them?
Tell me something good, Ernest. Tell me something good, brother.
The Disappearance of the Millbrook Twins, a 2-hour special event, Saturday, November 23rd at 7 on Oxygen.
I'm going to tell you 3 ways I use generative AI powered by Adobe Firefly to make my creative materials even better in Adobe.
No. Wait, y'all. Oh.
In an idyllic place, a mother disappears from the family.
This is the first case of missing twins that are still missing today.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Okay, I think that was the wrong one. Not to say.
If you want to understand what happened in the Millbrook twins case, you have to understand the fall line in Augusta, Georgia.
What happened?
The fall line in Augusta is really Broad Street. Broad Street separates the very rich side of town from the poverty on the other side.
Don't forget to hit the thumbs up, y'all.
What most people realize is that that line is physical. It's easy to cross, right? But it's not so easy to cross for good, to go over to the other side, to interact on both sides of town, to have the same kind of treatment by police, from hospitals, media attention. What we're talking about is disparity. And I think in Augusta, it's just more obvious because of the incredible wealth on one side and the poverty on the other side.
The chasm is in every city of this country. It happens to be more visible in Augusta because you look at the golf course and it's just pristine and it's beautiful and the millions of dollars flow in every year. And then on the other side of the line, you have people who are struggling to feed their children. The city is really built around the Masters. The Masters is bigger than the city.
When the Millbrook twins were taken, or whatever happened with them, we're still trying to figure it out. It happened in March of 1990. Well, what happens in Augusta come April? It's the Masters, right?
It's kind of interesting to me that at a time when that kind of news coverage would have been so important, we didn't hear about them at all. They were written off as runaways with no support within a few hours of their disappearance, and that fact never changed.
As a news person, I would say it's not surprising to me that these 2 kids would be forgotten about, because that's the week the eyes and the attention of the entire world are focused on Augusta, Georgia. But as a person, I can't imagine how the family felt. To have 2 of their children just vanish, well, it's heartbreaking. It's unconscionable.
I was born and raised here, and I wasn't even aware of it until 2013 when one of the family members contacted me.
The lack of support from the media and unfortunately from the law enforcement officer who was involved at the time. You cannot believe that something like this took place in this period of time. This wasn't the 40s or the 50s. This happened relatively recently, and you just have to pick your jaw off the floor that this happened to this family.
Now you see, she's even saying the lack of support from the media and the police at that time. And that's what I read. They didn't have no media coverage. No media coverage. This is horrible. You got two twins that went missing and you have no media coverage? Are you insane? But this is the stuff that goes on. It's a shame. It really is.
I think because they was young black
Because the
teen
police
girls.
don't.
The police
cover.
said, oh, they ran away from home. Basically, anybody that was of color, our color, was runaways, basically.
Do I think there was institutional racism back in 1990? Absolutely. Do I think it exists today? Yeah. And I hate to be a stereotype, but we are in the South. And some of those traditions and some of those thought processes, as mundane and as archaic as you want to believe they are, they still exist because those people still exist.
This is the first case of missing twins that are still missing today, and nobody knows about them. They should be America's twins. They should be everywhere. They should be all over the news. People know about Natalie Holloway, Lacey Peterson. People know these names. People in our country should care about these twins, and no one even knows they went missing.
I didn't know.
Bam! HelloFresh. Guys, shrimp spaghetti with a kick is what we're gonna make. You guys know that HelloFresh makes cooking dinner easy, fun, and
I think podcasts have had an extreme impact on the investigation. Podcasts kind of fill in the gap from the cases that are on the verge of being cold or are already cold and reigniting the flame. And podcasts do it in a way that brings national attention. They're able to get the in-depth story and get people to feel and understand that these are actual human beings. So the idea that a podcaster says, look, I have a microphone and I have an audience I'm going to try to build, and I want to just go from the highest mountaintop and bring attention to a case, that really appeals to people that want to do something but aren't in law enforcement.
Okay.
Being a podcaster and its impact on investigation is kind of a double-edged sword. On the one hand, it's a great thing because they have a level of naivete that makes them explore other areas they wouldn't think of. They have a fresh perspective. They're not going to be hardened by something or be callous, or maybe just be apathetic because they've seen it so much. They're going to have a different zeal. That's a great thing on the one hand. On the other hand, because they're not trained about law enforcement tactics, about strategies, about interrogations, sometimes they open up conspiracy theories that otherwise would not have been there, or taint the jury pool if there ever were one. So on the one hand, it's great. On the other hand, there are some real shortcomings. But either way, at the end of the day, getting interest in a case can be more powerful than getting it right every time.
Like everyone else in America, I think I listened to Serial first and then began to look for stories I haven't heard. And we learned as we went. You get a sense of how many places, if somebody wanted to commit a crime and cover it up, they could. The easy part was starting with the stuff that we're good at, which is research, writing, finding people, talking to people. The hard part was, how do you make a podcast?
The story of Gregory Montgomery, murdered the day after Thanksgiving, 1987, begins and ends with one of these neighborhoods.
I'm a licensed professional counselor in the state of Georgia, and so I can speak with the families who have been so neglected and are usually very traumatized. So what is going on with Raven's case, if anything, and what is your
Has a
relationship been like with the
license.
department? They were already traumatized because their loved one was the victim of a violent crime. And then on top of that, they went through the fact that the media and oftentimes law enforcement didn't care enough to help
Why
them.
hasn't the family been their voice and continue to search for them all this time? And police, they are, Katie.
Basically, our
They
goal
are.
is to take the information we have on the flyer and
They haven't
get it
stopped.
updated for the higher reward. When we started off to make this podcast,
They won't get help.
we thought a lot about how do you tell stories about people who have not been listened to? Because it's not that these families have been silent, it's that they have never been acknowledged. They've been speaking the whole time. How do we tell stories about people who can't speak? We are the platform to put the family and the victims on. And I think that's how we approach it, to include as many voices as we can and to show people how ultimately nearly every case we talk about is an effect of a larger symptom. In the case of the Millbrook twins, there was very little information on the case, and I started thinking about it and thought that maybe this is finally a time to have a practical application of academic skills. Maybe there's something you could do in the real world with all the staring at newspapers and reading in books. And thought maybe we could gather information on this case, because if you can build a knowledge base, maybe somebody can do something with it.
This is the fall line. Let officials in Augusta and Georgia know that you expect the Millbrook case to be investigated. We will not let the twins continue to drift at the corners of Augusta's collective memory.
That was one of the first times people of Augusta said, well, who are these girls and what happened to them? Imagine 30 years in that because of a podcast you start, that would reach millions of people who all cared about what happened in a town that doesn't even have millions of people.
Our ultimate goal is to get answers and resolution.
So because of this podcast, they got the attention that they needed now. Because from what I was reading before, they've been trying to get some attention and get some help, but the cops just shot them down and lied to them this whole time. But now I guess because of the podcast, they now are getting some attention that they need, because it sure ain't the damn media or the police. But let's continue.
And we aren't the people that can go get it. We're not investigators, but we are the people that can gather the information and get people to listen to the family,
Right.
And inspire people to go out there and get it. I think that's what they want.
Right.
They
Say that
just
again. We ain't
want
investigators.
Recordings just got better. Hey, it's Dana from StreamYard. I'm so excited to announce that
March 18th, 1990, Danette and Jeanette Millbrook went missing. They were written off as runaways. And on record, the case was closed because the twins were marked as having been found a year after they disappeared.
That's crazy. That is so crazy.
I want to know what happened to my girls. I'm hoping that they are alive.
Genetic genealogy is the combination of using traditional genealogy tools to build out family trees with the help of DNA.
It's not in that sad.
Genealogy work has exploded because now people are able to go into Ancestry.com or 23andMe and find third cousins they didn't even know they had, and start building out family trees that are richer and deeper and more connected than ever before. In the Millbrook case, the mother could use the recreational genomics databases, submit her DNA, and ask the question, do I have any relatives that I'm unaware of? Let's take the scenario where one of the twins lived, had a child. That would show up. Then she would be able to see, oh, I have a descendant I didn't know about. And it may turn out that that would lead to one of the twins.
We just want to have the sample on there just in case. And I'll start doing the matches as soon as we get the numbers. So all you have to do is basically a little gross, but very simple. You spit in the tube. The hope is that maybe there's another relative out there, maybe the twins,
or
maybe
not.
not, but maybe there's somebody else out there who can tell us something.
When evidence is left at a crime scene, if there's biological evidence, then it can be analyzed for DNA with a method called DNA extraction. It's become a staple of law enforcement. But historically, if that DNA didn't produce an absolute match, either to a suspect or a database, its value was nominal because then there was nothing else you could do. You'll notice in the older reconstructions, they all appear gray. And that's because they didn't want to mislead anyone. They could do facial reconstruction from the bones, but they had no information or very little information about ancestry, eye color, hair color, skin color.
My thing is,
so we said, let's analyze that DNA and see if we can tease out more information so that when you don't get a match, you can do something else.
I agree, Katie.
All of these technologies are now being combined into the investigation, and
Julie does too,
making genetic genealogists much more effective. Since we introduced genetic genealogy in May of 2018, we've had 67 solves. That's more than one per week. And these cases are on average over 20 years old. So these are cases that really, absent these technologies, probably would have never been solved.
It honestly seems like police are going back to these times and closing cases so quick due to them lacking their progression. Exactly. Exactly, Katie. Right about that, baby.
Jeanette and Danette are a singular case. This is the first case of missing twins that are still missing today. There have been twins that were kidnapped in the past. They were usually taken by family members. They were quickly found. The Millbrook twins are still missing.
I have to piggyback on what she said. There is a set of twins that are still missing because we just did a case of them. Of the two girls, was it from Hawaii? Remember? It was in Hawaii. Those two girls that was waiting by the bus stop to go to school, and they are still missing. So, it's just it's a shame. It's really, really sad. You know what I mean? Oh yeah, I don't think you was with us then, Julie. I could send you the video though.
It's so rare that there would be two missing people from the same location. It's really rare because think about the strategy you have to employ to get one person who disappeared. You have to use force oftentimes, and people are going to have a tendency to want to run, to escape. To get two people at the same time means you had to overpower either the will or the physical force of that person.
What did you just, I don't know what you did. I see you did YouTube. But thank you, babe. Hit the like button, mama. I thought this would be something different, but that's okay.
in cases when you have more than one person who's taken it once, it's normally because they have been in a position where their trust has been compromised. Maybe a police officer, maybe somebody who is saying they're going to come help them if they're vulnerable. And they entrust that person to protect them because they think, well, I'll give the benefit of the doubt. There's not going to be a struggle involved. And that's what makes it all the more cruel for people when you hear about these cases. The idea that people would entrust in another person and to have your trust translate to fear is extraordinarily painful for people to think about.
In the disappearance of the Millbrook twins, frequently people have said it would be too hard to kidnap two people at one time.
That's not true.
What we found
We see
out,
it all the
the
time.
bond between these two girls was so strong. If one of them was in danger, the other would have done anything to help. It would have probably been a lot easier with two because of the strong desire to protect the other one. They would have been fairly easy to control.
Wow.
Can you imagine if someone tried to take your sister? Would you let the person just take them?
Hell no.
Would you just say, okay, I'll run away and try to get help? Or would you be with that person? And even though your life is now in danger, wouldn't you go too? It's what you'd expect of sisters, what you'd expect of twins, and likely what you would expect from what happened with the Millbrook girls. They were one another's soulmates and best friends. I can't imagine what it was like for them in the moment that they were potentially taken. I cannot imagine that one would allow the other to be harmed and not fight.
Oh, yeah. Hold on now. Let me see now. It gotta be. Because what I think that. Oh wait, I think that. Okay. I was looking at the wrong one.
Cade is alive. You took my son?
We gotta get that baby back.
You want it?
Who committed murders.
Could find them.
Tell me something good, Ernest.
The disappearance of the Millbrook twins.
This is not it. So you mean to tell me that they are barely like I guess that was right. Like they barely That's a shame. There is no documentary really of them. It's a damn shame. I never heard of her.
If you want to understand what happened in the Millbrook twins case, you have to understand the fall line in Augusta, Georgia.
All right, so Hold on, guys. Hold on, ladies.
Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Caitlin, and on this channel I upload all sorts of different types of videos relating to true crime, education and psychology related topics. So if that sounds like something you'd enjoy and you haven't already, then please do hit that subscribe button and don't forget to turn on your little notification bell so you know whenever I upload a new video. And welcome back to another day in my week of uploads. So if you haven't already seen, I am uploading a true crime case every single day of this week, so you'll have loads of content to look forward to from me. And for today's case, we're going to be discussing the disappearance of a pair of young girls known as the Millbrook twins. But before we get started, I'm just going to whiz through my usual disclaimer that I like to include.
I'm sorry, this video might be a mess, y'all. But you know, I really thought that I saw when I was looking, but I guess
not. Family members continued to persistently.
I think this is it.
Danette Millbrook and Jeanette Millbrook were born April 2nd, 1974, and raised in Augusta, Georgia. The twins' mother is Mary Louise Sturgis. Danette and Jeanette have 8 siblings. At the time of their disappearance, they were 15 years old. On March the 18th, 1990, Danette and Jeanette Millbrook walked to the local Church's Chicken restaurant for lunch. When they returned, they informed their mother, Louise, that a man in a van had followed them for part of their walk. Nothing further is known about this man. Later in the day, the twins walked to their godfather's house for the purpose of borrowing money to take a city bus to school the following week, as the teens and their family had recently moved to a new apartment further from the school. After receiving the $20 for bus fare and a little extra for snacks,
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Yeah.
next they continued on to a local gas station where they bought chips, candy and soda. The clerk Gloria was familiar with the twins. She did not recall anything out of the ordinary about their behaviour. She is the last person to have seen Danette and Jeanette.
So
Jeanette was last seen wearing a blue pullover shirt over a white t-shirt.
So they went to, I'm sorry, but this might be the messiest video that I have ever done. But we're gonna have to watch the news report. I don't know who the hell this is speaking. I was looking for a documentary that I had came across, right? And it looked like some police was in the car, and I'm a little frustrated right now. I'm very, very, very frustrated right now.
is really a great conversation. We speak to Laura Norton and Brooke Hargrove, who are really cut from the same cloth as us. They do the Fall Line podcast, and they started their podcast on one case. It was the disappearance of Danette and Jeanette Millbrook out of Georgia, Augusta, Georgia, in 1990. And then, Lance, just like us, their podcast led to a TV series done by Oxygen and produced by Texas Crew. And so you can check out that show, The Disappearance of the Millbrook Twins, on Oxygen.
An easy way to watch it is to download the Oxygen app. That's what I did, and it's so convenient, and it's really powerful. And I think I texted that to you after you wrote to me that this is a really great documentary. It's a 90-minute documentary. And I wrote back that it was powerful, and it really is. They leave no stone unturned. They talk to family members like Danette and Jeanette's sister.
That's what I was looking
Shantae, and the two investigators, Paige Reynolds, who's awesome. You'll start quoting some of his lines as you're getting towards the end of the episode. You realize just how quotable and how badass this guy is. Also badass is Laura Coates. They're the two main investigators, and they actually draw evidence from the Fall Line podcast. They reference it a lot, and they draw evidence from that, including a letter which they bring to law enforcement. And I don't want to give any spoilers, but it's really a significant moment in the true crime genre.
Yeah, it's a really great show and a great podcast. So check both out, and please share this episode. And share the Fall Line, because I think it's important to get this story of Danette and Jeanette Millbrook out there as far as possible.
And one thing that I really liked about the Fall Line is that they actively seek out cases that are just completely out of the public's attention for a number of reasons. And you'll see this especially with the Millbrook twins.
Okay, and before we play this interview with the ladies of the Fall Line, we want to tell you about some new live shows that we're doing. The show in Brooklyn that we did with True Crime Obsessed went so well that we've added a couple to the slate here. Check it out, truecrimeobsessed.com. And we're going to be at the Royale in Boston in March 20th, 2020 at 8 p.m. in Boston. And then we're going to be in Philadelphia the next night.
The next night in Philly, March 21st at Underground Arts. And that show is at 8 p.m. And we will also be joined by our buddy Maggie Freeling. And we're going to try to recreate the magic 2 more times.
Okay, so check that out. There are links to buy tickets in the show notes. So thank you very much, and we hope you enjoy this interview and this episode, and please watch the Millbrook Twins, The Disappearance of the Millbrook Twins Oxygen documentary, and subscribe to the Fall Line podcast. Welcome to Missing Maura Murray. We are being joined by Laura Norton and Brooke Hargrove of the Fall Line podcast. How are you two ladies tonight?
We're
Excellent.
Great.
Good.
Thank you so much for joining us. I feel like the past few weeks with the guests that we've had on, it's like Christmas has come early. You two are my newest idols.
Shay.
You're up there with the work that you've done on your show, and really truly humbled to be speaking with you. So thank you.
Whoa, thank you so much. That is so nice. And incredibly intimidating, but really nice.
Really, Julie.
That's an interview tactic. That's an interview technique.
Yeah.
Set you up.
Okay, I'm going to have to definitely get into this case.
A good chance he's being completely disingenuous. He tells me stuff like that.
You remember
most
this?
mornings. Just
This is my
to,
first time hearing
break
about
some
it.
bad news usually.
Yeah, I have
I thought that
I have an
seen
automatic text message that I
a
send that
quick
just goes to Tim at like
documentary.
7:30 a.m.
So I said, "Oh, I could
Tim,
do
I think
a
you're the
reaction
greatest.
video."
It's an
Now I
honor
can't find
to
a
be on the
damn
other side of the
documentary I was
microphone with
looking
you.
That's right.
Yeah.
So your show, The Fall Line, I believe it began covering the disappearance of the Millbrook twins in Augusta, Georgia. Is that correct?
Yes, it did. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And you recently participated in a TV series, a special from our good friends at Oxygen, produced by our good friends at Texas Crew Productions.
Let me put the
Yes,
link
I
in
feel
the
like we're
thing.
family now.
Ah, seriously, we're like cousins. We're like kindred
Second cousins.
yeah, kindred spirit cousins. I feel like with our
Please hit the like
paths with
button.
the podcast covering one case, and then kind of eventually kind of going to other cases, but also that one case launches a documentary for Oxygen done by Texas Crew. It's pretty cool.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love the fact that you guys do take on one case and you dig deep into it. What's your process like, and when did you decide to do it that way? And how did you sort of break down who does what and how far to go?
Ooh, that's a multi-layered question.
That's what I do. I told you it's a tactic.
Yeah, it's these are excellent tactics. Brooks, our interviewer, I hope are you taking note of these tactics?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. So we largely do one case at a time. Sometimes we do seasons where we do several cases, like cases that we really want to cover, but there's just not enough there to have a full plot arc for the season. But in general, like our basic criteria for picking cases is we look for cases where there's little to no information available, because our skill set is building that information. So we feel like we can actually add something to the conversation if we can build information on a case. And then if people have access to it, then they start talking about it. And if they start talking about it, there's new interest. And you guys know how that goes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you sort of have to deal with a little bit of the, I guess, the collateral damage that comes with new information. So there's a process of vetting information and sifting through what might be false leads or, the proverbial red herring. Was that something that when you started this, you encountered a lot, that you were bogged down a little bit by people contacting you with these leads?
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting. We have had a very different experience, I think, than you guys. Because I think you probably, how many leads have you gotten or tips? Thousands?
Yeah.
No, I would say
about...
like, yeah, I wouldn't say legitimate leads. I think I would say we've gotten 1,000 theories, but I think most of those people don't think they're submitting actual information. They might think what they're saying is correct, but I don't think they would say bring this to the police.
So on our side, it's the exact opposite. There's nothing.
Yeah.
So we don't hear a thing, really.
Really? Why is that?
Yeah, because the cases are completely obscure and no one's ever heard of them.
Right.
So when we start actually making the podcast, we will get the occasional call or lead, but these cases are usually cases that will have happened in a town, maybe even on the same street where someone's living that's a listener and they've never heard of it before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. So yeah, it's like we're cousins from like a different continent or something like that, because I feel like we only covered the Maura Murray case because there was so much activity on it that kind of launched our interest.
I was looking for somebody to.
Sorry, just trying to hone in.
So I could do a reaction video of the case.
Yeah, if you were to do like
we are separated by the Mason-Dixon line.
I love it.
Okay.
Talk about the case.
I feel like if we were to do like a true crime like DNA like 23andMe type test, we would look at our results and be like, oh, the fall line.
That's the case. I
all the way over there.
Research and talked about the case.
Yes. I mean, but I think it comes from the same fascinations. Do you know what I mean?
Yep,
sure.
It's I think we're both operating from this need that if you just look hard enough,
the
you
guy
can
that was
find
in prison,
the right
the
things
dad
that
told
can
the
help
investigator
resolve
what he was told, and
an open case for a family or for an unidentified person. So I think we're all coming
That's a
from that angle.
shame.
It's just that what we're good at is obscurity.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Okay, so
That's a shame.
I want to talk real quick about before we move into the story of the Millbrook twins and their disappearance. I want to talk about your backgrounds and where you've come from, and I wrote down here Professor No Investigation. That's what.
And that was when the case was reopened, and so we have microfiche and we have
very similar.
Yeah, they're cousins. Yes,
they're cousins. Yeah.
I was teaching a class that I designed. Like freshman composition's really boring, So I like to design fun stuff to make it more interesting. And I did a whole course on unresolved mysteries. And actually, we covered Mara on that
Oh,
in
very
that
cool.
class.
Nice.
But I wanted them to learn about how like victim coverage is really unbalanced and how hard it is to find out information on cases that don't miss that missing white woman syndrome template. So I actually heard of the Millbrook twins on Robin Warder's podcast, The Trail Went Cold. I'm
Ah.
sure you guys are familiar with him.
Yes. Shout out Robin.
Yes.
Great guy.
Yeah, he had a listener connect him to Shantae, and he did a interview with her. And so I was like in Augusta, because we're in Atlanta, which is 2 hours away. So I went and tried to find out information on the case, and there were 3 articles, and they were all from 2013, and 2 of them were the same article, just printed in different papers. And that was when the case was reopened. And so, we have microfiche and we have archives in the university I can get into, and there was just nothing. So I had my students look, and they couldn't find anything. And they were, doing everything they possibly could. And then I said, why do you think it's like this? And we really began to discuss the effects of the media's disinterest and missing children of color, missing women of color, really, people that don't fit that basic mold. And from that point on, I kept looking into the case and just got angrier and angrier and wanted to see if I could increase public knowledge of the case by just building up that base with more information. And that's how we started.
Good for you. Good for you. And
Good for you.
I love that you focus on these victims. I love that you focus on unknown cases. Tim and I fell into the Maura Murray case because we were really fascinated with the community that was so passionate about figuring out what happened to her. And then we discovered what missing white girl syndrome was. And I love that there's a group of people like yourself that look into these cases. And I love that you keep saying that you got angrier and angrier. And in the words of Zach De La Roca, your anger is a gift. It's how you use it. So I love how you have made that into your motivation to bring some closure here.
Yeah, and I love how you talked about initially developing an interest because of the community. We are experiencing the same thing, just in the opposite order. People truly did not know these children were missing. Even people who lived in Augusta and had lived there their whole lives didn't know there were a set of missing twins.
Oh my God.
Now that the show has come out, word sort of got around town. I feel like a lot of locals have watched it. And there is this community that is like coming out of the woodwork, trying to contact the family and let them know, like, oh my gosh, we had no idea. What can we do? Let's all get together and do something to help. It is like so beautiful because the family has been waiting for anyone to pay attention.
That is a beautiful thing when people get together and say, you know what, how can I help you? The sad thing is when you ain't ever heard of these people or these young ladies or these guys that go missing, especially when they right in your town and they've been missing for years. That's when you know somebody ain't doing their damn job.
Since 1990, they've been trying to speak about it and trying to get people to pay attention, and they just haven't had a microphone yet until now. And it's just so wonderful to see.
Yeah. And it's crazy that it's
wow.
that you can say that you can say the people even in Augusta in the immediate area don't know about this, and the show came out and now people are coming out and forming a community to help figure this out. But I mean, we've seen the billboard that's been up. It's been 30 years, and when you show the route that the girls walked, where they walked to the store and their father's house, and I mean the godfather's house, it's aside from them coming from their own house, like
Did you
that
see
route is so small.
the
Like
oxygen thing?
it kind of puts into perspective,
Shay?
even though we're talking about a city, this was a small community in the city. Or was I getting the wrong impression of that?
No, you're right. I mean, even though they walked a good little bit, it's still a fairly small area.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so they went missing on March 18th,
Okay, baby.
1990. And
You
there's a little
did.
bit of a
That's what I was
timeline that
looking
they go
for,
over
Shay. I wanted to do a reaction
in the
on that.
program on Oxygen. And was that something that you had learned via your podcast?
So the timeline, the family always had the timeline.
Yeah.
It's just that the police report didn't have everything. Well, A, it didn't have everything that actually happened on the timeline. And B, some of the locations were incorrect.
Mm-hmm.
So if someone was to go and try and interview people and see what they'd seen, they would have been on the wrong street.
Yeah.
We worked with the family early on to really establish precisely what happened at various times and exactly where they went, so that we could figure out, like, okay, so if they were actually here, who in this area hasn't been spoken to?
Right.
And what was really interesting about it is that several of the people that we interviewed who had seen them on that final walk had never been interviewed by the police. They had never been contacted. So they are not even though the file was allegedly lost and we've never been able to see it, they were not in the file in the first place because no one had bothered to come by.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
Okay, so can we go over the timeline here up until the point that they went missing? So
Okay.
Jeanette and Danette, they went with their mom to church in the morning?
Yeah, so they went with their family that morning to church. After church, the family came back to their apartment. They had just moved to that side of town. The twins actually wanted to finish out the semester at the school they had attended on sort of the other side of town where they had just moved from. They were going to need to get there, and the bus would not pick them up because they had moved. So they talked to their mom. Their mom said, call your godfather. I don't have the money for that. Maybe he can loan you some. He said that he would. Before they left to go to his house to get money for the bus, they left and went to Church's Chicken, got some lunch for the family, and came back home. When they got home, they told their mom that a white van had been following them. It was kind of an offhand remark. They didn't seem too upset about it. And so they left at that point and went to walk to their godfather's house. This was in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Went by godfather's house. He gave them some money. He gave them a little bit of extra so they could get like a drink at the gas station or whatever. They left their godfather's house, and on their way home, they walked by their cousin Juanita's house, and they went to knock on her door and ask her if she wanted to come with them. Juanita's mom said no because it was getting late. I think she didn't want her walking with them so late. So they left Juanita's house and stopped by their older sister's house and asked their older sister if she would walk with them. She had just had a baby and she was not up for it. So she said, no, I'm staying here. They said, okay. They left their sister's house, went by the gas station to pick up a drink and some chips. And they were leaving the gas station to walk home to their apartment, and they were just gone, never seen again.
Yeah, there's the moment in the show where they talk about how the cashier looks away from them and then looks back up, and it seems like the second they left the store, that was when whatever happened to them happened to them. Is that your thoughts on it as well? That it happened there at the store?
That's what we think.
Okay.
We are very near. The store is situated in such a way that it can be approached on both sides.
Uh-huh.
You know, it's your average corner gas station where people could pull in from one side or the other. But there's also an alley that runs behind the gas station where people would walk a kind of cut through. Not like a city alley, but like, I don't know how country you guys are, but like, like more like a dirt path,
Yeah.
with grass on either
Yep.
side that runs behind. And so they could have gone in any of those three directions. But they definitely didn't get far after that point because she kind of glanced around and you think she would have seen them walking down the street. It's a busy street. There's nothing really blocking the way. There aren't trees. So she looked and she saw nothing.
Okay.
Okay.
So then the TV show with this lead from the prisoner Ernest, that I mean, I know you initiated contact with Ernest in prison, but were you aware of what he was going to say?
No. So how we came upon Ernest was I started looking into their dad quite
found
early
it.
on in the process, as you would.
The
based
twins'
on,
dad, John, right?
Yeah, John
Okay.
Millbrook. I mean, based on what the family told us and just based on some other information. So we pretty quickly found out that he'd been arrested with several people. And I wanted to see how close they were. So we dug through a little bit, found out they'd all been pallbearers at a funeral together. And we ascertained that these guys he'd been arrested with, they'd committed 2 murders. And then John had been involved after the fact in attempting to hide one of the bodies of the victims. And he's considerably older than them. So it was kind of interesting that he had this relationship with them in the first place. But we tracked down the guys who were still in prison. There were a few that had been out, and we wrote to them, just like you saw in the show, asking them some basic questions. We asked them if they knew who Joseph Patrick Washington was, who was a serial rapist and alleged serial killer in Augusta. We asked them if they remember John Millbrook, and we asked them.
So they had a serial out there. Wow. And that's what you was telling me, Julia, about the body and him hiding the body. Yeah, this is a little bit, and I just found the documentary. I looked on my phone, y'all, and I found it finally. Why I couldn't find it on there in front of y'all? I'm making me seem like I'm a little cuckoo and shit. What the hell? So they did see somebody following them. The girls found. Oh wow! Oh my god! I don't even know what to say, y'all.
If they knew the
I'm a little
twins.
speechless
And we got
when it
that
comes to
letter
this
back, or
case.
Brooke got that letter. She's the one that wrote back in October,
And I
right?
tell
Of
you why.
2017. And we totally wanted to know what he had to say. I mean, we were dying to know.
Yeah.
But we felt like if we did that, we could damage the only possible lead that had occurred in this case in 30 years. And that would just be unconscionable. So even though we already had a chilly relationship with the sheriff's department at that point, Brooke sat down, got it arranged, got them copies of the letter, made sure everyone had the letter, contacted the DA,
Hey, Kathy,
contacted
baby.
the DA's investigator, and just really pushed, hoping that someone would look into this. We were told that they would, but no one ever did.
Now, the contents of the letter, in his
Wow.
response, he says that he has information on Jeanette and Danette's whereabouts,
Yeah.
or what happened to them.
Yeah, so he actually said, what if I told you I know where you can find them? So of course, when we got that letter, it just blows your mind. 30 years later, someone seems to know where they are, and then for 2 years, it's just sat on.
Jesus.
Yeah, that's one of the more frustrating parts of the when you see that moment in the special on Oxygen. That's an incredibly frustrating part when you learn that it's. I mean, you literally have a letter from somebody who's in prison as an accessory to murder, right? That's what he was in prison for, or was he in prison for murder?
Ernest Vaughns was in prison for murder, and so was Reggie Cummings. Yeah.
Okay, so they were in prison for murder in that area, and they write the response to you specifically saying that about the Millbrook twins, and no one does anything for 2 years.
Well, it seems like they didn't want to turn over this, or open this big can of worms because it sounds like it would have led down a path of a lot of people like that, drugs, murders, but potentially a lot worse stuff. And it almost seems like the ship guy, whatever
Jim
his
Ship.
name, yeah, what an asshole. But it almost seems like they just didn't want to try because they knew it was too much. It was too big.
Well, Ship would have been gone around 93. So he was the original investigator, and
Well, he's still an asshole.
Well, for another reason. Yeah.
Yeah. So we honestly think, I mean, a lot of people have been like, do you think that there was a massive conspiracy specifically involving the original investigator Ship? We didn't name him on the show, but Oxygen has, so now we can say it. We think no.
Yeah.
We think it was pure apathy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just going to say that.
Yeah.
I was actually going to interrupt you like I just did now in a very rude fashion. I was going to say, no, I don't think it's a conspiracy. And I think that's what I thought this is exactly what I thought you were going to say. It's not a conspiracy. It's just they didn't give a shit about two black girls.
Yeah. And he seemed to have not a lot of empathy in general and didn't care about them and just closed the case out. We have only ever seen the incident report. So we have to go on what we're told by other people. We're told that basically he wrote down that other people had seen the twins. But the family was told that actually it was because the twins had turned 17 that he was closing the case. And I think everybody in true crime knows that you don't close a case because someone turned 17.
No, you always close cases when they turn 17. You just close them.
Yeah, and
Just done.
it's just kind of, when they were told that, and then getting the call from Nick Meck a few years later, that was not the somber call, that you would expect, because of course Nick Meck doesn't have this information.
Thank you, Kathy.
They just have the information that the case has been closed out and the twins have not found.
Yeah. See, this is what we're so fired up about, is that
finally, right?
That this guy Jim Ship had he initiated that call, right?
Yes, he did.
Well, yeah, what's happening there?
And that call was to the National Center for Missing and Abused Children, right? That's what we're talking about.
Yeah, it's National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. And
what did I say? Abused? Yes, exploited. Yeah, sorry.
Yes, but yeah,
same thing.
Same thing. So we actually spoke to someone there, and he was able to see they had paper records back in the day. And he was holding the piece of paper that they had gotten a call. And then later on, Jim Ship actually admitted in the Oxygen documentary that he was the one who made the call.
And might I say that he didn't admit it in an aggressive interview scenario. It wasn't like he was in a room with a light bulb hanging from the ceiling and being interrogated. In the show, it gives the appearance that the question was asked, and he said, "Yeah, I called them." The question was asked by Laura Coates, who is one of the investigators in this, and he doesn't even pause. She says he doesn't even pause. He says, "Yeah, I called them because I heard that there were sightings, so I just wanted to close the case."
Yes, he truly doesn't seem to have any concept of his behavior having anything wrong with it.
He sounds like a real prick. Like a real prick. He don't give a damn about these cases. Whoever this guy is, or whatever detective he was on the case, he was the wrong detective on this case. Lied to the parents, said he was going, because I seen a little piece that said, matter of fact, it was an Unsolved's comment that a woman was saying, it's a shame that the cops lied to these parents all these years, saying that they were gonna keep this case alive and keep helping them until they find out what happened to these twins. And they ain't do shit. They barely got media coverage. It's a shame when you trust in the police, the ones that they're supposed to be protecting our community, and you know, we have our trust in them. Damn. But they the ones mostly that's out here harming, powing, and R-ing, and harassing, and trafficking. And human trafficking. Because I wanted to do a thing on organ trafficking, I mean. I was watching something today about that.
Well, I think he might because he didn't want to be put on camera, which is so weird to me. Then just don't even agree to do it, right?
So we've actually spoken to him before. Brooke.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah,
Breaking news.
Brooke spoke to him and we get into it on the podcast a little bit, but you know, as people without lawyers, we were careful. But Brooke spoke to him and asked him a lot of questions, and he was just very matter of fact, very unconcerned. He thinks they're runaways. He thinks they went to Texas. And that's when he actually said that line to her about, if you find some dead twins, let me know, was on that call.
Yeah.
So that's just,
Yeah,
he's just
Jesus.
What?
very laissez-faire sort of approach. And I think that, to me at least, I think him not wanting to be shown perhaps has more to do with not wanting blowback and less to do with him feeling that his position's incorrect.
If you find some,
God.
hey
So
Madison,
this is like a
baby
political game.
girl.
Well, was it a racist thing, or is it just like a thing where it
beautiful.
was too big of a story? You know,
Wait, you
so
mean to
if
tell me
Ernest's
a
story
detective
is
said if you
true,
find some undead twins?
then there's a lot of people involved, and
That's a
that's a
heavy
lot of
blow.
work for them. So I guess my question is: laziness?
Hey,
Is it more
Barbara.
laziness or racism?
So, because he gave
beautiful.
us sort of limited access to his thoughts on the situation, we can't be sure. However,
That is a heavy
contextually,
blow, y'all.
I did hear him talk about how many runaways there were in Augusta. He continued to call the twins those runaways throughout the interview. He said that they were known
Please hit the like
by
button,
the police
good
department,
ladies.
although I let him know that they didn't have any records. Laura went to the department,
What we did was the Juvenile Department of Justice, Miss Louise signed some paperwork to allow me
Please hit the
to
like
ask
button,
them
ladies.
to do searches for the twins. They did a number of searches, different names,
Thank
different
you.
spellings. They have no record.
The school system also has no record of any major behavioral problems with the girls. So he continued to say that they were runaways, they were trouble, they were, bad kids. And this is not supported by any facts.
And I don't think he had any concept that there could have been a big, large case. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Cause he wouldn't, Ernie.
Well, I suppose
was
if he
talking out his
thought
ass.
that she was hanging out in the crowd with their dad there, Millbrook, I don't know how much of that is true about his behavior and drugs and letting people use his apartment and for drug sales and things like that. If that stuff was true, I could potentially see a cop being like, whatever.
Well,
I'm very disgusted right now because what gives a detective the right? And this is not the first time I heard that a grieving parent have said these cops talk to these parents like they a piece of like they ain't nothing. Like they're nothing. Who the hell gives them the right to do some shit like this? Look at Timmy D's mother. She said that also. That the cops talk to her like she nothing, man. Hey, YJ, the author. Hey, what's up? How are you, love? Yo, this is crazy. Barbara says they talk to me like trash. It's crazy. Oh, that's the other Barbara. Barbara Hall. Okay, I thought you. It's so many. I'm getting confused with the other. I had Barbara Hall. I'm thinking about. I thought the other Barbara was in here. Yes, they talk to you like that, right? That's what I'm saying. Unbelievable. 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 You know, I thought you was the other Barbara. Point blank, this has been happening forever with cases. Obviously, this case is 33 years old. Yes. 33 years old, y'all. How are you today, Barbara? And that's what I'm saying. That's what I was saying. They even talked to Barbara like that, but she was saying that before. I thought you was the other Barbara when I said, oh, they even talk to you like that too. Like, it's crazy. Even people that's not going through the, but you're going through what you went through with your son. That's what I'm saying. This shit don't make no sense. Really. It don't make no sense. Who the hell gives them the right to do some shit like this? That shit pisses me off.
Interestingly, so the police never knew about any of
This
this.
shit don't make no sense.
They did not connect that there was a serial rapist and alleged serial killer at the time.
Yeah.
They also
No
didn't
sense.
ever interview the twins' father. I don't even think knew
What?
anything about.
That
No,
makes sense. I mean, you
absolutely
don't want
They
not.
never.
Yeah.
No,
They never
no,
interviewed John
No,
Millbrook.
absolutely
You don't want to
not.
inconvenience him.
He was.
You're kidding me.
They,
Oh my god.
No,
they
Barbara.
literally did not do these things. So it would never have occurred to him to even think of a lead.
And this is 33
He
years.
literally decided these
I hope you don't
children
have
have
to
run
live with
away.
this. I
I'm
hope
not
not.
going to look for them. I'm going to close their case.
Yeah, no one was interviewed.
And
So
they
I
still
mean, I
miss
think
him.
they definitely could have found out, some troubling things about the twins' father if they had looked, but they didn't. So I honestly think he just said runaways. Augusta gets around 70 a month.
I want to show y'all
and
the
they moved
news
on.
report that the
Yeah,
family
well,
did
they had
after
the
this.
masters to prepare
I
for. He
thought
was
this was.
probably
I
lining up
found a
security for,
documentary, but we'll do the
the
documentary
rich white
video
folks
next
coming in to
time.
watch golf.
Right. Mm-hmm.
After
Yeah,
all
and I
this
think
time I have now.
I think the new sheriff Richard
right.
Roundtree, he says it in the show when he says, was there systematic racism in 1990? Of course, and we might not look at it like overt racism, but just the dismissiveness of like, well, they just ran away. They just went to their godfather's house to get some money to take the bus, and then they just decided to run away.
Yeah,
we'll move on.
Because when it's institutional, a lot of times
That's a
people who
shame.
aren't experiencing it, right? They don't see it.
They don't know it.
It's
yeah,
because it's so embedded in society. It's in every single thing that we do. It's just that, me walking around, I get to ignore it if I want to because I'm white.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%.
All right, so this lead that came about via the incarcerated prisoner there, Ernest Vaughn's, how much validity do you think that has? Do you guys think that's true?
We can't say. I mean,
Oh. All right, well, this interview is over. Oh, I thought we had broken them down enough. Have we mentioned how much we love you guys?
We're supposed to be family.
We know David
makes me
Carabinus.
cry,
Okay,
unreal.
we have his number.
So horrible.
Well, you
right?
text him right now.
I ain't know. I'm just now finding out about this case.
I
just now.
think that
Well,
I
you know,
feel
few-
like there's some
before I did the
elements
live.
there that, based on my research, feel to me
I didn't know
like
about this.
things that should definitely be pursued. Let me say it that way.
Right.
Okay.
I said, "Oh my goodness!"
But they're are they not pursuing it officially?
No, they said they're no longer following those leads.
So where does that leave the leads?
Well, I mean, we have plenty of things that we've been working on throughout, and we've continued to work on them. So that's one thing, you know, and so we're just kind of doing what we do, which is talk to people and research, you know, but officially speaking, from a legal perspective, there's nothing happening.
Well, that's disappointing.
There is, however, as we talked about before, there is a newly energized crowd of people in the city of Augusta who are very interested in these things being followed up on. They cannot conceive of why they wouldn't be. So this is great news.
People interested in things like searches. So, you know, there's, and this is all on Facebook, you know, Shantae had a page for the twins called Missing Jeanette and Danette Millbrook. And it had maybe 100 or 200 followers.
I just found
very
that
small
page
amount
today.
up until the show, and it's just exploded. Especially
And
with
Shantae
locals.
is their sister, right?
Yeah, Shantae Sturgis. She's really the protagonist of our podcast and in a lot of ways of the story, because she's the person who has, you know, her mom had kids to raise and just a lot of trauma to deal with. So Shantae took over when she became a young adult, really pushing for her sister's case. So if you go and look at that Facebook page, you'll see a lot of people in Augusta who are saying, you know, where can we be? Where can we help?
That's great.
Have they organized searches that, you know, grid out areas and people look at those areas, you know, maybe like, you know, 100 yards each or something?
So I was actually speaking to a local friend of mine earlier, and I think there's some people who do this kind of thing who are interested in doing it right, you know, going to public property areas, gridding it out. So I think there's some talk about that, but nothing has happened as of yet.
Okay. Well, that's good. The community is a great step. You know, but building a big community is a big step towards combating the apathy of the official investigation, because you can raise money, you can make searches happen. That's all possible.
Absolutely.
You can bring in cadaver dogs.
Yeah.
GPR.
Yes.
Yeah, all possible.
Absolutely.
I want to go back real quick to like that area, and we were talking about how you can walk around and not see the racism, and I was really fascinated when it was broken down. It was sort of briefly, it was broken down when you were talking about how Broad Street divides the town, and it literally is like saying, you know, the other side of the tracks for the most part. When you're talking about like the poverty versus the wealth that comes in with the masters.
And you know something? I'm glad you said that. I wish people would stand up. I wish people would stand up too and stop saying, I'm not going to snitch. I'm not a snitch. I don't know nothing, because somebody knows something. Sorry, shaking. I'm grateful it's election year. Oh, yeah, that too. I was just talking to Dave about that because I don't vote, period. Because for what? They voted for Obama. They voted for what's his name? All they doing is trafficking these girls. People do need to come together and stop saying I ain't no snitch.
Versus any racial tension. How do you, as
either Shay
citizens,
Shay, or you heard what I
that
said, Shay Shay,
when you're investigating, when you go to talk to people? How do you
Girl,
do you ever play that?
shit.
I don't want to say
You
like
know
play
what
that
it
card,
is.
but how do you get into that community?
I don't totally understand the question.
Yeah, it is a pretty convoluted question.
Shots fired.
Oh, really?
No, when you describe the area that
Okay,
Augusta
Barbara.
is, you have this one
I
section
know,
that
but in the luxury, a lot of times you can get your
has
story out
poverty,
more
and you
because
have
things
the
are
other
so
section that hosts the
Mm,
masters, and there's a lot of
true,
wealth that comes into that area. And this case
true.
takes place somewhere in between, as far as
That is
the
so
like
true.
law enforcement and dealing with the people on the other side of
That
Broad
is so
Street.
true, Barbara.
And
I forgot
I
about
just
that. I
want to
didn't
know
think
your
about that.
approach when you talk
Yeah,
to families that are on
yeah,
that other side.
Yeah, are
yeah.
you sort of also maybe wondering how our race
Right
plays
about
into
that.
it? Because that's definitely a factor.
It is getting
That's
played
yeah,
down
I
to
guess
snitching, right?
that's probably a
But
better
they
way to
come
put
on
it.
social
Yeah,
media
so
and
that
talk
was
any damn way.
absolutely a consideration from the get-go
Shit.
because primarily the people in positions of power in law enforcement in Augusta who have done things to this family that have hurt them are typically white people. Laura and I are both white. So we absolutely needed to take that into account. I have been amazed at the family's acceptance of us as people who can come in and work with them. They have been open to us coming in. They've been happy to work together with us. I have felt so happy to work side by side with them to try to get their story out to a wider audience than has been
Awesome.
heard before. But it absolutely was a factor.
And I can add a little bit more about that because you mentioned approach. So one thing I do want to say is that I think Augusta is like an easy picture of this because you have that one street and you have mansions, and then you have twice the poverty level that you see in the rest of Georgia. But every city has marked disparity. It's everywhere. North, south, east, west.
Let me tell you something. Augusta, remember the other day when we was talking about I had a case that I was working on from 10 years back, and I was saying, Barbara, be very careful because when the police are involved on doing something to your loved one, they start to mess with your phone. Remember, Katie, I was saying that? They start to mess with your phone because and doing all this sneaky stuff and tapping stuff because I had a sub that I was trying to help for her brother's case. This was in this town right here. And we will really swear that the police was involved in her brother's case. And the detective on the case was in Augusta, Georgia. And he was messing with her phone and doing all type of crazy stuff. It was crazy. This was the town that was in. Yup.
And so and maybe the communities that are experiencing the disparity change a little
You
bit
remember
depending
that
on
one, Kathy
place,
B?
but it's there. So our approach, because oftentimes the
Remember
cases that
that
we
one?
look at are cases of people who
I
have
don't want to say her
experienced
name
that
on here,
disparity
but
because they're the
it was
people that
very
don't get
dangerous.
coverage.
It got
We
to
have a
a
lot of
point where I
things that
couldn't even do the
we
interview
try to think
on
about
my
before we
live.
go
It had to
in.
be on
And
the
our number
phone
one thing
because
is
they kept
that we
messing with
want
her
to center
internet. They
the
kept doing
victims and the
stuff.
family and decenter our shows. And when people know that it's not the Brooke and Laura show,
I'm gonna give her a
where we're
call
going to be
actually too.
protagonists, where we're going to be active participants in the story. Instead, it's about the people who've had the experiences. And instead, what we try to do is sort of put a mic in front of them. They're already talking. They've been talking. Nobody listens. This is kind of like the key thing for us is that these are people who have been talking, but no one has heard them because their voices haven't been amplified. So when we approach it, our goal is to amplify. And I think that is one thing that the people that we have had the
Yeah,
privilege of working with have
I'll talk
liked
to you
and
about
have
that,
responded
Kathy
well
B.
to. And I think that's why we've been able to continue to successfully work with people living in all different kinds of situations.
Gotcha.
I hope
Beautiful.
she's doing
Yeah,
okay
well
though.
said. that is a great approach, and that is the way I think a lot of people who want to do this, whether not a podcast or just look into something as a citizen,
I
something
believe that's
unsolved, maybe a
happening to
case that
me, but I
happened in their
don't care. I
hometown,
was told I
something that
might
they're
be.
passionate
Oh, I
about. I
know
think
you
that
said
they
that.
should really
I
take those
can't be
words to
hurt
heart
any more than I
and
do now.
and
Mm.
sort of assess everything that goes into
You believe your stuff
not
is
only the
being
victim
messed
but their
with,
family, their
Barbara?
community,
If you
et cetera,
believe
et
it, then
cetera.
Yeah,
believe you.
absolutely.
I am particularly enamored by Paige
You lost
Reynolds.
2 babies,
That
right?
man.
Yes.
I want to know what it was like
Damn.
to be sitting there when you told him, and I know that television has their creative
Sorry.
editing and everything, but this
I
seemed
was
like
just
very
talking about you
genuine,
today to
a very
Katie, but I
genuine
gotta get
reaction.
Barbara. I gotta
When you
talk to
told him
Barbara
about
this
the
week.
letter and he said, "You got the
Yesterday we was
letters?"
at the hospital
When you
most of
told
the
him
day.
about that from Ernest Vaughn's, that you had this letter.
Yes.
What was it like? Like, did he actually not know? Like, what was it like first telling him? Because he's such an animated person, and it appears that he's putting like a lot of himself into this case.
Yes, I think Paige channels all of us because nobody can believe what happened in this case. It's
Yeah.
unbelievable. Like the fact that there is a physical letter that says where these children are located and 2
Mm.
years has gone by and nothing has done. Everyone just, you're just shocked. And so he does that so well. I feel like we are all him.
Yeah.
And my favorite line of his from the show is he didn't know you from a can of paint.
Oh my God. Yeah. I
Love
literally
it.
wrote
I'm
down
sorry,
my favorite
Barbara.
lines from him.
Yes.
What else you got, Lance?
One of my favorite lines is, well, he says it a couple of times, but to the effect of,
Wolf
"You get
boys.
me on the phone with that cat," and he'll tell, like, he's got lines like that. And then right after that amazing interview that they did with April, the daughter of Ernest Vaughn's,
Yeah.
they this incredible interview, and she goes out to take a break, and he, such a great line. He said, "We can't leave this house until we know."
Oh,
And I was just like, you
Yeah.
are so badass.
His line,
Yeah.
it's funny. I've noticed that some of his lines are kind
Julie,
of becoming
I gotta message you.
vernacular on that Facebook page I was talking about of Shantae's. Everybody is talking about piss poor investigations, like specifically piss poor.
Yeah.
Love it.
Well, that is a great expression.
I loved how he dealt with Ernest on the phone.
Yeah.
He's calling him brother, and he's like commiserating with him, and he's saying, "Listen, it was just like he just went right into that like classic I guess technique or whatever, like
Yeah, it's like what you did at the beginning of this interview, Lance.
Oh, maybe I learned a little from him. I subconsciously learned a little from him. But I love his sense of urgency too. He was always like, okay, nothing's happened for 30 years. We're starting to turn over some rocks. People are starting to talk. This is how it happens on the street, and when it happens, you have to keep going, or else you lose it. And that was sort of like a summary of what his feelings were. He never actually said that. That wasn't a quote, but
no,
I love
that's
that
right.
attitude.
You want justice.
Yeah.
Wait for your boy.
This case really needs that attitude, and it needs to continue to have that attitude from the public.
Well, it needed you guys too. It needed the two of you to bring it out. And I was so impressed that you got to sit down with them, and not like you shouldn't be taken seriously, but it's.
So this is the podcast that we was watching before on the documentary. If it wasn't for the podcast, the 2 twins would have never been noticed, and people would have never even been known that they were missing after 30 something years. So these ladies actually brought the case to light. And that's what that's why I like that podcasts and social media and stuff, because for goodness sake, the media didn't do it. You know what I mean? You got podcasts and content creators, and even Facebook is doing identify people at the morgue and stuff like that. Shit. They doing a damn detective job.
A very new method in which public information is gathered to solve a
Yep,
case
I was saying that
through a
when I
true
was
crime
when I
podcast.
was
And
doing
to
a live
convince
on your
somebody
son,
in law
it will
enforcement that
be
this is a
2
legit
years.
way to
Yep,
do it,
February 28th.
and then sit down with them and then
This
have a
is
TV show
just
about
turned
it put
another
out
year.
there so that
Katie was
awareness
telling
can
me,
be
yeah.
raised. Like
I said, oh wow, it'll be 2
it's a
years. So
really cool chain of
yeah,
events that's only going to
Yeah.
result in some sort of conclusion here.
Yeah, and it
yeah,
it
your
wouldn't be
son's
possible
case is
without you guys.
wow,
And I think that's awesome. And
definitely.
we've been
I would
told similar
say
things, but we don't
cover
really
up allegedly. I
take
gotta
it
say allegedly.
that well. You know
We
what I mean?
know it
Like we
ain't
don't really
allegedly.
want to hear it, to be honest. But it
Definitely
is
covered up.
true that anybody out there listening can make a difference in these cases.
It
I
sounds
mean,
like
I
a
really
lot of
think
higher up
we're all
is in
living
with
examples
their
of that.
hands
We've
in
come
your
from
son's case.
something that didn't have anything to do with what we're doing now, what we're talking about right now. We got involved and moved a case forward. So I'm only saying this because I want to appeal to anyone listening who has thought about it themselves, because they can do it. And I think there's a real difference though in covering like one episode or something like that on a case, and then doing a deep dive and focusing your entire podcast on
I
a case.
believe that
For
you
some
guys are
reason, I don't know
amazing.
what it is,
Us
but
families need
when
you
there's
guys.
like an entire
Aw, thank
podcast
you
on
for
this one
everything you
case, it
guys
just
do.
has like a feeling like it's not gonna
Aw,
stop. Do you know what I mean?
thank
And so
you,
something
Barbara.
has to budge in that way. It's almost like the dam has to break.
Well, you
We
hope that
try
it's the
our best. I
catalyst
think
for
every
movement,
content
and
creator
you
that
hope
does
that
true
that
crime
movement can
that
happen
really
on
is
a
doing it
bunch
for
of
the right
levels. And
reason,
I mean, podcasting has changed so much in the past 4 or 5
I
years,
commend them too.
but it absolutely needed that medium of
I definitely
TV
commend them
to get it to
because it
a
ain't
larger crowd
easy.
of people.
It
I
takes
mean,
our hearts.
Yeah.
plenty of
Because
people
I be
listen to the
getting close to
podcast,
a
but
lot of these
the
cases.
number of people that my dad actually texted me when the
Like
trailer came
literally,
out,
like I
like the
be
morning it came out,
crying,
and he said that it had been
and
played
I know Dave be
300,000
like, "Why are you
times, like in
crying?
a
You don't
couple of
even know
hours.
them. You don't know them."
It's
And I'll be
beautiful.
like, "I
You
don't have
know,
to know
so I
them."
think that
You know,
you're right. It's these deep dives, and whether it's on
you don't
TV,
have to know them. And
whether
it's
it's in a
hard. You know what I'm
podcast,
saying?
whether it's a book, that's the stuff that really gets people moving.
Yeah.
One thing, though, I think that you can say to people who are interested in helping with cases, be interested in helping with the boring stuff too. The stuff that
Yes.
doesn't feel exciting, you know, the stuff that wouldn't make a good Reddit thread. Ask people who you're interested in the cases of. Ask their family if you can help by handing out flyers.
Right.
Ask if you can go
Right.
through old newspapers. See what you can do that can push the case forward in a way that may not seem exciting at first, but will have like measurable value.
Right.
Yeah.
So
That's great.
actually, before we were able to get the billboard about the reward for the twins now have a reward of $10,000 raised by listeners of the Fall Line. Before we were able to get a billboard also put up by listeners of the Fall Line, the reward was there. The sheriff chose not to announce it.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Yep. That's
For
typical.
various reasons. So Shantae
Not very shaft of them.
gets off work. Shantae gets off work. She has children. She has grandchildren. And she is walking around in the rain trying to put up little paper flyers, hang them up on telephone poles, trying to announce the reward on the street that these children went missing. So
Jeez.
we were able to go to social media and put out a thing. Is anyone around? Michael Whelan came. Michael Whelan from Unresolved came to help her hang up flyers. You know, things like that are really wonderful for people to do. If you don't happen to have the equipment, but you're interested in helping, there's always a way to help families who
Yeah.
are trying to find their loved ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well said.
That's
Well
right.
said. And
Yeah.
I've been leaning a lot on this whole concept of if you're doing something like this, it's not just a podcast, right?
I can try and
You know,
meet
people are trying to do a
with
true
them
crime
if it's me,
podcast, and
Mickey
they're talking
Mouse.
about how they
Aw.
can get
For me,
downloads
definitely
and
would try to be
you know
there
where
to
their
support you.
mid-roll
That's so
sponsors
nice,
want to go,
Julie.
and that's where they're focused. I love how what you're doing is focused on a greater cause. The podcast just happens to be how your voice is heard, and you're focused
It's the vessel.
Yeah, sure.
It's the vessel, and you're focused on the why of it all. You're building the community and you're building the movement.
I first off, we really appreciate that.
Yeah,
That's absolutely
it is
a
hard on
wonderful
us
thing to
too,
say. We
Barbara.
always feel
It's
Yeah.
another tactic.
we don't deserve these
And I
compliments.
don't take a
But
break. That's
I
the
just,
thing. We should,
I don't want
right?
people to feel like they can't
Katie tells me that
make
too.
good
It's
ethical
okay
true
to take a
crime if they're
break,
not like
and I
being
don't.
driven by a mission. Do you know what I mean? There's room for a lot
Nobody
of different
tells me
kinds of
that.
stuff.
I'm hard-headed.
The funny stuff, the chatty stuff, the stuff where you talk about
That's so
cases.
sweet
There's
of
room for
Julie.
all of that, you know? And
Yep.
I don't want it to seem like there's only one kind of
I don't take a break
good true
until I have a
crime, because
mental
I think there's room
breakdown.
for everything. But
Oh yeah.
you know, if you do want to like help a case and you want to create a kind of mission, I think just make sure that you center it on the people who were directly affected by the crime, and that's the way to succeed pretty much every time.
Yeah.
But you know what?
That's
Doing
great.
flyers and
Great
stuff
advice and
is
a
a good
great point.
idea. I do
And
cases.
just thank you
I
very
don't do
much
cases
for
where I live
all the
at.
work that you've
And
done,
I
and
keep
thank you for
saying I need to do
joining us
cases where I
here
live
on the
at,
show tonight.
so I can start putting
Taking up an hour of
flyers
your
and
time
things
on a
out like
Thursday
that.
night.
I do
It's
cases far away where I
valuable
can live, and then I
hangout
can't go to
time.
court with your
So thank you.
family.
We really
Like the
appreciate
Lana
it.
Do you guys hang
the
out?
Lanier case. I want to
No,
be in
I just
court
mean
with
Do you
like
guys think we
like
Janetta
hang out?
and
We're so
No.
not cool.
We're in our mom pajamas. She
her
drove over
sister
in her
and them,
minivan in her mom
and her
pajamas,
brother
and I'm
and
in
her
mine.
uncles
I
and her
am
family
literally
and
I'm in
her
my
wearing
mom
grandmother. Like, I
hush
want to
pajamas.
be in the
puppies.
courtroom
I'm
with them, but
wearing
they live in
Band-Aid colored hush puppies right
you know.
now.
ladies, like listen. In no way did I mean hang out outside of your house.
Oh, good.
In
But
any
I did. I
any
wish that I was out
cruel
there
fashion.
doing
I
the
just meant
whole
like, you could be watching
search
TV right
team
now,
and
but you're
stuff,
talking to us.
like, but I live so far.
Well,
I'm going to Machine nightclub after this.
I actually,
I'm
I
still
actually met
looking
Tim
for
before. I
cases
met
where I
Tim at
live
the
at
True Crime
too,
Podcast Festival.
so
We
I can
did. By
support
the
the
grace
families
of
out here
God, Lance
also.
wasn't there, and I really think the panel. I've been saving this joke all night, by the way. But
Why'd
I
you
really
set
think
it
the
up like
panel
that?
was better off.
It was a really fun panel to be on. We were with Sarah Turney, and we were with Octavia from Missing
Well,
Alyssa.
hey, thanks for joining us tonight, ladies. It's been a really good.
All
And
right, they're
Patrick
just
Hines from
picking
True
it
Crime
now.
Obsessed. It
So
was a
I
real
think so.
all-star panel, star-studded.
I want to show the news, and then I'm gonna end it. Oh, that's me. That was 2 years ago. Okay. Hold on.
They were last seen March. Twins reported missing in Augusta nearly 30 years ago receives national attention. News Channel 6's Renetta Dubose sat down with the family today. And Renetta, a podcast is only part of what's giving the family hope. That's right, Jenny. DNA and a one-on-one interview with the Richmond County Sheriff. These are just some of the ways the host of a podcast helped the local family hope for the best. Augusta twins Jeanette and Danette Millbrook received very little media attention after they were last seen March 18th, 1990. But after 7 episodes of the podcast called Fall Line, the family is getting movement they feel might be enough to bring the girls home.
I'll never give up hope.
She's 62 now, and Mary Sturgis has not seen or hugged her daughters in 27 years. All she has are memories now of Jeanette and Danette Millbrook. The fraternal twins have not been seen since Sunday, March 18th, 1990. News Channel 6 sat down with their
I
mother
know,
and sister,
Julie.
Shantae
Shame.
Sturgis,
who shared their story and how they are finally getting a little help bringing the girls who vanished at 15 home.
Mom got word, and then she kept saying, you know, something ain't right. They ain't got back yet.
Shantae Sturgis says that Sunday, the Millbrook twins left Jennings' homes where they live to walk to their godfather's home on Forest Street in the Bethlehem neighborhood. Their sister, who was 12 at the time, says the girls made the trek to Forest Street so their godfather could hand them $20 to ride the city bus to and from Lucy C. Laney High School. That walk included other stops to see family and friends who say the girls wanted company.
And when my sister told them that she couldn't walk with them home because she had been so long had a baby, so they left her house walking and they went to the pump shop store and they got drinks, soda, and chips.
This is the gas station on 12th Street and MLK that Shantae and her mother tell us the girls were seen buying those snacks by a gas station attendant. That attendant tells us the girls were normal that day, but they never returned home, and for 23 years, the case remained dormant.
They found a Jane Doe in Aiken. So when they did a reconstruction of what the face would look like, and when they put it up there and they showed it, I was like, oh my God. I said, Mom, I said, this person kind of favor Jeanette.
We reached out to the Aiken County coroner, Tim Carlton, about news that his office took those Jane Doe remains to Columbia for DNA extraction. We are still waiting on his callback. Now, the Fall Line podcast is sending letters to businesses and leaders to start a reward, and the family will have their one-on-one talk with Sheriff Roundtree tomorrow. Jenny?
Huh. Shit. I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to fix this video up and edit it, and oh boy.
To a party on Friday night and had been assaulted, and there was a videotape.
And it's the beginning of
In just over 2 minutes, I'm going to show you how I created this ebook using a feature called Word Genie.
Very big puzzle, such as this one.
To get to school. That's all they wanted to do.
Yeah.
It was very much two twin girls that was trying to get to school. That's all they wanted to do.
Yeah.
Shantae Sturgis was just a child. Louise, a single mother raising 7 kids, when her 15-year-old twins went missing March 18th, 1990. And since that time, the case has turned cold.
7 kids?
Nothing happened.
Okay.
All we hear is hearsay.
Here are the facts. The Richmond County Sheriff's Office reports on its missing persons page that Donette and Jeanette Millbrook left their home that day on Cooney Circle to visit with a family friend near 12th Street and MLK Boulevard. They were last seen there around 4:30 in the afternoon. The Cold Case Project retraced their steps that day based on the Sturgis family story. It was a Sunday, 70 degrees, and the twins joined their family at Christ Presbyterian Church on Laney Walker Boulevard. Around 2 o'clock that afternoon, the girls picked up family dinner and realized, since they recently moved to Cooney Circle, they needed bus fare to make it to Lucy C. Laney High School that week for class. So they took the 2-mile trek, about a 40-minute walk, from their new home to their old stomping grounds.
My goddad stayed on Forest Street. That was the first stop they went to.
Half an hour? More than that?
Second stop they went to after they left his house was on 12th Street. We used to live on 12th Street. So we knew pretty much all the people that stayed over there, you know. And we know this lady named Agnes Jones. We know for sure that she seen them walk past her house. And when they walked past her house, she lives on 12th Street. When they walked past her house, they went to 10 Cup Lane, which is where my cousin Juanita stayed at. Okay, Juanita couldn't leave and go with them because they was asking for her to walk home with them. Her mom wouldn't let her go. So they left her house and went to my sister's house. My sister lived on Pickett Avenue, across from what that is. Was it Terry? What's the name of that? Hi Hat. Ain't that's the name of it? It was a little club called the Hi Hat that my sister stayed directly across the street from. When they left her house, well, upon us going down looking for them, and after my mom talked to my sister told my mom when they left her house, they went walking towards the pumping shop. Pumping shop is on 12th Street and what that is, Martin Luther King now. But at the time when they went missing, it was called Milledgeville Road.
The convenience store clerk told us many years ago that she sold the twins snacks and saw them leave, unsure of which direction they took.
We have teenage girls disappearing during the day. We have them disappearing in a busy neighborhood.
The Fall Line podcast began researching the Millbrook twins case in June of 2017. They have since increased the monetary reward to $11,000 and will update a nearby billboard with their photos. And like the family, they feel someone in or near the Bethlehem Laney Walker neighborhood knows something.
Some of the areas of focus, of course, were the gas station, anyone at the gas station, but a few of the places that the investigator originally went to were the twin school and Underwood Homes and all the different places that the twins' friends hung out. Any of their friends who can think back.
Maybe little stuff that maybe doesn't seem like it directly has to do with the disappearance.
While it has always been reported that Danette and Jeanette vanished from the convenience store on 12th and MLK, a documentary released in 2019 revealed new evidence that they may have been picked up and brought to their father's home here on 3rd Street.
Every person, without question, who knew the twins has said they would not get into a car with someone they didn't know.
The documentary also indicates a man currently in prison may know pieces of information about that day, claiming a drug party took place at their father's 3rd Street house, and that is where the girls were last seen. It's news Norton and Hargrove first revealed on their podcast after writing letters to people connected to the girls' father, John Millbrook. The documentary ended with a message that the Richmond County Sheriff's Office stated the story that man in prison shared was not connected to the Millbrook twins. We learned from family that John Millbrook died in January, and because the Richmond County Sheriff's Office declined to speak about the Millbrook twins case for this story, we do not know whether he was suspected in their disappearance. The girl's sister says John Millbrook always acted suspicious. That is until Hargrove spoke with him before he died.
The first question out her mouth asked him, did he know where my sister and them was? And he said, I think they did.
Several tips follow the documentary, and they are all just pieces to a very big puzzle, such as this one. Remember when the twins picked up dinner after church? Sturgis says they came home saying a white van was following them. Shantae Sturgis tells us she only remembers one person that could have been, and he lived near them on 12th Street.
A black guy driving a white van. I think they called him Raping Man Charles.
While the family spent decades wondering whether human remains discovered in the Shaw's Creek area of Aiken County might be the twins, the Aiken County coroner told us a private examination of those bones ruled out that they might be the Millbrook twins. But the family still has hope that one day Danette and Jeanette will come home or some closure and justice will happen.
I also have been talking to a company out in Texas that's supposed to be trying to, come up with a search party to come down and search the brickyard. But due to the COVID being going, it's kind of hard right now.
Anyone with any information about Danette and Jeanette Millbrook should call the Richmond County Sheriff's Office at 706-821-1000. Next time on the Cold Case Project, we take you back to 1998 when Reverend James Ivy was killed in his Aiken County business on Jefferson Davis Highway, what his family and law enforcement need to get justice and close the case.
Wow. This is a shame. It really, really is. Oh my God. I'm baffled. And I'm barely baffled. I can barely shut up when I'm doing a story. But this just don't make no sense. They barely got the case out. The way they talk to the family, it's just disgusting, you know? There's barely any information about it. It's like little piece here, but they said that they felt somebody was following them though. But then they wind up at allegedly the dad's drug house. I mean, like, what? This is sad, man. This is real, real sad. But you know what? Somebody knows something. They need to speak up. If they don't want to say their names, you don't have to leave your name. But why hold this information? Yes, no words. Shock. It's like, damn. Like Barbara says, stand up. Ugh. Barbara, I'm gonna reach out to you tomorrow so we can talk. Or I don't even have your number. If you want to send me your number, you can. Or I can call. I wonder if I can call you on Messenger. Because that's the business messenger. I don't know how to call on my business messenger. Let me see. Let me see. Am I on business messenger? Oh, no, you're not. No, I think you're on regular. Let me see. Oh, yeah, no. Oh, you messaged me today? Oh, no, that was before. Okay. Oh, okay. No, I could just call you on regular messenger. I'm going to give you a call tomorrow. All right? I was talking to Katie today. I know you want to get your sons. The most important thing is to get your sons, keep your son's face out. And I was also telling her, well, what about hitting up these news reporters and also what's her oh my God. I'm tired, y'all. Don't mind me. Unbelievable. I don't get how any of these cases and end results are allowed with no full-blown investigation. I know. Or cover-ups. They shortcut everything. Yep. 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 Mm-hmm. Taryn Hall. Taryn Hall, America's Most Wanted. Because Jelani's mother, I don't know how she got on America's Most Wanted. But she got on there and got Jelani's case on there. And you could tell that Jelani's case is a big cover up too with police. So I think that would be pretty, good. Try to get Timmy's case on there. I don't know how she got it, but she did get there. Right, Katie? Jelani's case got on America's Most Wanted. And Taryn Hall. Miss Carmen Davis actually got on the Taryn Hall show. Um, and I mean, you could tell Jelani's case is a big cover up too. So these cases that are big cover ups, certain people will touch them. I know a lot of people are scared to touch these cases. A lot of talk shows and a lot of investigators, but you get the right talk show or investigator, they will talk and they will touch this case. Yeah, it would. Because now that I'm thinking of it, I'm like, wait a minute. Miss Carmen Day was on Taryn Hall's show. I'm gonna send you that too. I'm gonna send you that. And she has said that's when the other girl was missing and nobody was talking about Jelani Day. Nobody was talking about Jelani Day. Nobody. I didn't even know Jelani Day was missing because all I kept hearing was the other girl missing. I forgot her name. What was her name? And next thing you know, yeah, there's other mothers going through this, yeah. And she didn't get justice for Jelani yet. She's still fighting. Still fighting. And his organs were removed. He's one of the cases we was talking about over the weekend when we did the whole big podcast thing up here. And next thing you know, she got on America's Most Wanted. I said, "Whole crap." Okay. So there's ways. We just got to keep pushing it out there. But I was talking to an organization on Instagram. I think it was Missing in Black or something. They did the Lifetime movie of trafficking. Because I was asking them if they wanted to come on my podcast and give an insight on how the system works and everything. But she's pretty busy. But she'll have her secretary give me a call. But I'm going to reach out to her again about your case. So there is people that we can talk to. We just got to get the right ones. We're going to push for anything. 5 cases in the same place. Yes, Katie was saying that too. 5 cases in the same place. Something ain't right. Exactly, Katie. Yup, that's what we were saying too today. Yup. Yup. And we definitely got to get you on here so you could tell your son's story. That's why I want to talk to you too, so I can get a little bit more of, because I like, before, what I do, I always talk to the parents. If I could talk, like when I usually do a case on here, I always talk to the parents first. Usually, sometimes a lot of cases I don't talk to the parents because you can't find the parents, and these are some cold cases and stuff like that. But I usually always talk to the parents. And then I have them come on here and then we push the story out and stuff like that. But yeah, definitely. We definitely got to get you. Get you on here, Instagram, TikTok, everywhere, 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 everywhere. So yeah, I'm gonna call you tomorrow. Yeah, I'm like, I remember having helping someone else with it was the same case with her, them messing with her phone and stuff. And I was saying to her, have you talked to the news station and stuff like that? And she was saying the same thing you saying, Barbara. They don't want to touch the case because when they feel like it's the higher ups involved, people just shut down. And I remember calling the news station. And they said, oh, we'll have somebody get back to you. Ain't nobody get back to me, but we ain't gonna stop though. We ain't gonna stop. Nancy Grace. She liked it, one of my stuff. So I know she watching me. Hey, Nancy Grace girl, I need your help. Okay? Yes. You're good with that, Katie. You know, my stuff be everywhere. My notebook is everywhere with cases, but you really good with making timelines, I guess, and stuff like that. Yeah, I'm definitely calling you tomorrow, for sure. For sure. Yes, Julie went and got her a notebook to help us too with my little cases and stuff. I said, Julie, I got a case for you. Julie's a little investigator over here. She the one that helped me with the little, yeah. It's amazing how doing this and you got new people that join and they just like, I want to help. I love that. I love that. I love to see that. Yes, I love Nancy. You know what's so crazy, Barbara, is I had commented on something on her Twitter and she liked it. And I said, oh, Nancy Grace noticed me? Cause no, sometimes I feel like I ain't nobody special. People barely share my videos. You know what I'm saying? Like ain't nobody. So I said, okay, Nancy Grace noticed me. Okay. And then I had said, well, thank you, Nancy Grace, for noticing the work I do. And she liked that comment too. So she watching, you know? So we're gonna get her to watch your stuff. But I love how Julie she said to me, I'm gonna get a notebook and I'm gonna write everything down with these cases. And I love that because that shows that wow, they want to help. You know what I mean? Like we got helpers up in here. And that's amazing. I love that. Thank you, Julie. Thank you. Cause I got some cases for you, Julie. You let me know when you're ready, girl. I got a case where a mother is trying to find out um her son was pow 32 times. 32 times by his own landlord. And the landlord then flee to Mexico or wherever he's at. Yup. Oh, you wrote yours on the cat. Yeah, Barbara ain't playing. She got her stuff down, ready, and mm. Oh, okay, yeah. Katie does hers different. Yeah, Barbara. Um, she was a player. She went and got her a notebook and everything. She said, "Yup, I'm gonna write down everything." Julie said, "I'm write down everything." I said, "Okay." And then today, she sent me a little photo of some stuffed cases that she was writing down for me. I said, "Okay, now, Julie." It was so adorable, and I didn't ask her, but it's the point that she want to help. It's amazing when you don't have to ask somebody; they just want to help. because they care. You know, they care. And that's what Barbara was saying, like, stand up. Like, let's all, if we all can help one another and put in the work, you know what I'm saying? Like, if we all can help one another and stuff, like, everyone stand up, you know? Now we can get the people on the other side to stop saying, I ain't gonna snitch. I ain't gonna snitch. The fuck? And really start talking and helping and telling us where these people are at or who did what. You ain't gotta leave a name, but say something. Because it could be you one day. Or your kids one day. Then what you gonna say? I ain't gonna snitch and tell who killed my son. The hell? People are weird. I know, Julie. It does. My heart too, girl. That's why I do what I do. I told you when I first started this wasn't, I never thought I'd be doing this. I was just doing nothing, like messing around on the internet on YouTube. I never thought that I'd be doing this until I came upon Jelani Day's case. You get personal with cases. And then Alana in the near, I cried like a baby with Alana's case. I cried like a baby. You would think I knew her or I know her. They was like, what's wrong? I was like, I just can't. I was like going through it. Especially when they came on the news talking about she's unalive. How y'all come back so quickly like that? I broke down. I broke down on live. Then behind TV, I broke down. I just can't. It's sad. It's really sad. Yeah, Barbara's doing what she got to do for her son. And one thing about it that's good about Timmy's case, it's everywhere. Because I Googled it and it was popping over here, over here, over here, over here. I said, okay, now, like I could find it. You could find it. People are talking about it. Content creators are talking about it. Google, I had no, listen, it's everywhere. Okay. So that's good. That's what we want. We want to keep putting it out there. Sooner or later, the police gonna have to do something. Somebody gonna have to help her. Investigators or something. But they gonna get tired of us and be like, you know what? We're gonna have to help because these people ain't gonna let it go. And keep calling the police station and calling and calling. That's what we gotta keep doing. Keep blowing up the phone. Keep blowing up the phone. Every day, every day, every day, every day, every day, every day. Till they get fed up. Investigator, you're not gonna help? I'm gonna keep blowing up your phone. Blowing up your phone. Blowing up your phone. I'm telling you. We got to. We have to. Let them know. Because if we just call once or twice or 3 times and that's it, they're gonna be like, no, we let them know we're not going nowhere. We're not playing. I mean, keep blowing up their phone. Start being like Denise. Denise kept blowing up them damn detectives' phone. They started. But no, then they won't help you at all. But I'm saying though, but like, man, yeah, it is heartbreaking. It's so sad. I got kids. I wouldn't. I don't even know what I would do. Like if my kids, and I'd be trying to tell my daughter, um, leave these men alone on the internet that you don't know, because then I would have to be looking for you. I would have to do a story about trying to find you. She don't understand that, man. She just don't get it. You don't know these dudes. Once your picture is out there, baby girl, your picture's out there. They're selling it to the highest bidder. And then you're going to be sold to the highest bidder too. Maybe one of y'all talk to her because she don't listen to me. She just think that I'm just that I'm just, she know I do what I do. She just think that I'm just a YouTuber that just, I don't know what she think. She know what I do, but she just don't listen. You know what I do on YouTube. You know I talk about trafficking also. So why do you constantly wanna put my heart at ease and scare the hell out of me? I called the government again yesterday, but they didn't call me back. Oh, give me those numbers. Well, when I call you tomorrow, I got my notebook ready. Yeah. Oh yeah. Matter. I'll wait till I get off. I was gonna. Yeah, I was gonna say something, but I gotta check up on it first. And sit in that Jeff City. And sitting at Jeff City, Missouri Capitol in Fredericktown, Missouri. They'll find my skeleton remains there because I'm not going away. I love my son and he deserves better. I know that's right. I know that's right. Wow, that just gave me chills reading that. Yeah, that just gave me chills. Amen. Amen. Keep blowing up their phone. Damn. So many parents that I've talked to say these cops don't care. They just so cruel to y'all. That's right, fight. That's right, fight. You know, there was another parent that I interviewed on here, Barbara. Her son was hung from her backyard. She woke up and found her son hung from the tree. Do you know that the cops came out and had the nerve to laugh? First of all, we already know we allegedly um we feel they have a hand involved in this. She's a part of Black Lives Matter or something and he was too. And that right there, they don't like that. But they had the nerve to laugh as he was hanging from her freaking tree. Unbelievable. You don't know your friends anymore, apparently, because Timmy was with his childhood friends. The world has become crazy. Yes, I want to know about that too. About what the whole story, because she needs some tough love, and all you can do is keep warning her about what can happen. I'm trying. Well, I was trying. She's still not talking to me, Katie. Robert, what was his friend's name, if you don't mind me asking? Clay. Nanny. Look it up. What kind of name is that? Nanny. You sure don't know your friends no more. Because what happened with Alani? Oh, I think I said her name right. Alani? Alana. Alani? I'm always getting about that baby's name wrong. But look at her. That was a family friend. And she was set up, allegedly. And they still don't know where she at. Because the monsters are sitting in prison not talking. How could you be sitting in prison knowing you're not going to get out of there and you don't want to tell these parents where their baby is? What kind of sick monsters are they? But you giving little hints in this, she's never coming back. Well, then let me know where my child is so I can bury her. You're in prison already, dude. And then the other one's on the run. But his wife is pregnant. Like, make it make sense. Officers, do your freaking job. Go find these monsters before they wind up taking y'all kids. The fuck? Ooh, they make me so mad, y'all. When the town won't help, then we have to go higher up the ladder, then higher up more, then more until someone want to help or look at things and take it serious. Exactly. 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 Higher up the chain, higher up the chain, higher up the chain. Yeah. Until someone takes it serious. You hit that right on the nose, Katie. You hit that right on the nose. Mm. And because of that podcast, now somebody knows about these two twins being missing. Now people are trying to help the parent, putting out reward money. Because nobody knew for 30 something years. They wasn't getting no help. And then the podcast did a podcast on it. And look what happened. Look what happened. Now the case is reopened. What? Wow, they found a man right next door to the sheriff's office. Since Timmy has been found, said he hung himself with his belt. What? Oh my God. The hell? I'm so shocked of reading what Barbara just said. So wait a minute. Is this where the judge? Because the judge property is where Timmy was found, right? Oh my God. What is going on out there? Barbara, let me ask you a question. Did Timmy still have was Timmy's organs? Did he still have his organs? Was his organs removed at any point? Like, was any of his organs removed? Oh, you saying agree it was right by the judge? That's weird. Very weird. Something definitely is going on over there. Was Timmy's organs removed? Because I want to know from the other parents also if their children's organs were removed. Because if so, we're looking at organ trafficking. Okay, Andrew was next to the Andrew was next to the sheriff's office and Timmy was on the judge. I thought Timmy was on the judge's property. Right. Okay. Thank you, Katie. So she said agree. What was she saying agree to, Katie? Thank you, Barbara. You know we got you, girl. We got you, mama. What was she saying agree to, Katie? His organs being removed? You did? I wonder if his organs were removed, Andrew Fox. Hmm. It was Katie? Oh, wow. Okay. So we're looking at organ trafficking. So you know what's our next step, right, Kate? All right, I can't talk about that on here because you know they watching. They will be watching. We have to talk about it in a phone call. Okay. So we're looking at August Harbison. No skin, no hair, no fingernails, no toenails. What? They had tattoos on a bionic arm. What? Oh, wow. Oh my God. Wow. Damn. He was with his friend? Yeah. I feel you, Katie. Right. What the hell? Wow. Poor baby, man. Jesus. Exactly, Julie. Boom. Exactly. 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 You found him, Julie? What? And you know what, Katie? I bet you the other boys the same. And that's going to be the pattern that we got, the pattern that we got to connect. That's going to be the start right there. That's going to be the start right there. And what um what is over there that they do, you know, like when we talked about Jelani, how we was looking up certain things in that area that buy stuff that, I don't want to say too much on here. Literally everything. Oh my God. Whoa. then it probably was removed. It probably was removed. And she did? Oh no, I wouldn't. Mm. Mm. He probably do. He probably do got a fake Facebook now. Mm-hmm. I've been told or didn't. I've been told or didn't traffic. Mm. This is sad. This is so sad. So sad. Damn. Mm. I remember last year I did a segment on organ trafficking and how much they get paid for a liver, a kidney, and stuff like that. I'm gonna start doing that again. But this is right, Julie. Exactly. Exactly. What? His left hand had a tattoo of a bionic arm on it, and his left hand is gone. Oh my gosh. They really destroyed that young man. This is horrible. I can't hear no. I know I gotta hear more of it because when I talk to you, but this is a oh Lord, oh my God, I'm fucking monsters, man. Mm, wow, the people that took his life and the people that finished his life. You know what I'm saying? They should be ashamed of it. They need to be charged big time, big time, big time. This is wrong. This is wrong. Yeah, you said that. Gone in the picture. I have all those remains when they found the tooth back. It didn't say anything. That is crazy and so disrespectful. So disrespectful. That just shows they don't give a damn. But let it be their kids. Let it be their kids. They will go beyond in war. That's awful, ain't it, Julie? Ain't it? I remember her saying that last time. I was like, what? Because that caught me off the guard. The last time she said it, I was like, what? Wow. Damn. The stuff y'all go through, man. We gotta definitely get this story pushed out more, but get other people to like like organizations to want to talk about this case, to put it out there. Destroy is way more than the word destroy, huh, Katie? Yeah. It's way beyond that. I'm so sorry, Barbara. So sorry going through this. I'm sorry for any parent that has to endure this pain, this suffering. Yeah, we definitely have to get organizations that wants to talk about this on they platform, they news channel, like Tamron Hall, some big people. To just, it don't even have to be big people, but people in that nature to get it out there. Because if we can do that, they don't have a choice but to look at this case again and give the justice that it deserves. This is sad. But I'm definitely going to give you a call tomorrow, Barbara. I'll call you on FaceTime, okay? After I get up, I take a shower. That's what I'm going to do. The first thing I'm going to do is give you a call. So as soon as I take a shower and stuff, okay? Before I put my thumbnails and everything together, as soon as I get out the shower, I'm going to give you a call. All right, guys, we're going to end this now. Thank y'all for watching. Share this video. Let these young ladies get their picture out there because nobody knew about these girls if it wasn't for that podcast. Go check out their podcast. I put the link in the below down there. So go check them out. And the Oxygen channel has their documentary. I think Shay saw it. We could watch that the next time, which I thought that's what it was. In the beginning, that's what I was looking for. But it's okay because we got some more little other stuff that we saw on here about the girls. So next time we'll watch the documentary. But yeah, go check their podcast out, y'all. And until then, keep Miss Barbara in your prayers. And we're going to see her up on here so she could tell her story instead of typing it. We can hear it. You know, because we want to see her and hear Timmy's story also. Even though we saw a little bit from Arctic Fox and we did the reaction video on that, we want to, hear it again. We want to hear from you. So I will be calling you tomorrow. Thank you once again, everybody. I truly adore y'all for supporting the victims and their family. Not just only my channel showing me love, but you guys show the victims and their family loves. And I truly appreciate that. And I know they appreciate that too. I know they do for a fact. So everyone be careful. And I will see you guys tomorrow on the next live. They have a nice airport in that little town. They have an airport? That's something to look into too. You know why? airports and travelers. And yeah, I read about something like that today when it came to trafficking and stuff like that. All right. Good night, Julie. Good night, everybody. Good night, y'all. God bless. Good night, Miss Barbara. I'll talk to you tomorrow, okay? As soon as I wake up and take my shower, I'm going to give you a call. Aww. I know. That's why we want to help you. That's why we want to help you. We got to keep praying, because I believe in miracles and I believe in God. I truly do. I do believe in a higher power, and I do believe that God is powerful. God is powerful than anything, than anybody that moves on earth. And as long as you're not giving up, He got your back. And you ain't like the parent that gives up. So, so yeah, I think that you just need a lot of support, more support. Because I see that, you got some support, which is good, and now you're going to get more support, and the more we stick together, and that's what you need. They need to see your people sticking together and fighting this with you, and just keep pushing the story out and keep making those phone calls and keep doing what we got to do and keep pushing it and pushing it. They're going to have to be like, somebody got to take this story. Somebody got to put this on the news. Somebody got to put this on the TV. Keep faxing letters and writing TV shows and all that type. They're going to have to do something. Somebody going to have to take the story. And once that happens, yeah. Okay. So just keep praying. If believe in the high power, keep praying. Okay. And God watch over you and your angels every night. And I know, I just know that your boys are watching you. And they like, my mama's fighting for us. My mama don't give up. She gonna fight, and she until she win, until she find out who did this. All right, everybody. Y'all have a blessed night, everyone, and be safe. I will talk to y'all tomorrow. I know Katie told me I asked her about you today, and she said she spoke to you for a while on the phone. And there's much more. Wow. If you wasn't living it, you wouldn't believe it, right? Wow. I'm gonna look into some things too. I saw something on Instagram, an organization, and I'm gonna reach out to them and see what they say, because maybe they got some good suggestions. They missing black people, I think it is, or something like that. Yeah. I want to see what they say. All right, you're welcome. All right, y'all. Everyone have a blessed night.